This week on the Minding Your Business podcast, Declutter Your Life, how environment shapes productivity. Welcome to the Minding Your Business podcast. I'm CJ Jolliffe with everybody's favorite co-host,
Aaron Gerald.
Awesome.
And today I'm really excited to be here for no obvious reason, because I really have nothing to talk about. I just really enjoy the process.
Well, then this is a perfect day because I have no value to bring. I just feel like unless you extract value from me, I have not prepared anything. It's just kind of been,
cool.
one of those, not one of those weeks. I feel like it's been like about a month between vacation and just things happening. I have not really moved the needle forward in the way that I should have.
Okay. Well, I can tell you, I do have a couple of things that I don't know if it's going to be exciting, but it'll be a difference. This should be the last time that I have to do that. So if you are watching the podcast, you'll know what I just said. Because I've got some ideas. You were helpful in pointing them out. I really like the setup that you've got going. I mean, I swear, It looks like you're talking to the camera, which I know you are because you're using a teleprompter thing. So I just happened to get one. I'm going to be using it. I'm going to set up the office a little bit different. I'm getting happier with the way this looks. I like the lighting setup, the paint colors, the everything so far, but I wanted to go one step further.
Hang on a second.
You got the dog.
Someone drop off a package and the attack schnauzer is now letting me know that someone's at the front door. So
gotcha.
Who needs an alarm when you have a schnauzer, right? All right. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh, good job, buddy. Yeah, you scared a boy. Okay, crisis averted. The terrorists were scared away by the attack schnauzer. So
nice. Okay, so back to the really powerful, impactful content that we have for today.
Yes.
So I will be.
That was the surprise guest. It was the package at the front door and the schnauzer. That was the surprise guest today. So
for sure. So a couple of things. Number one, I noticed you've got a different setup. It looks a little cleaner. There's no longer the little steering wheel and the gaming stuff on the table. All I can see is your glasses, but it's a slightly different angle. No, it's not judge. I'm not judging. You explained your whole system and setup there. I get that, but it's no longer on your desk.
Yeah.
You're not playing it anymore. I know you're a first order kind of person. Like if it isn't there, you don't use it.
It's just it's off camera. I have a racing sim rig now. So it's a stand that goes, I can move it out of the way. I can bring it back in, plug it in, and I'm good to go.
Okay.
Decluttering. So
I knew there was something because you're very, very first order. If you had to take it and put it under the desk and bring it up and plug it in, you wouldn't do it.
Yeah. The harder it is for me to like get into make the transition into something, the less I will do that. So, and I could like over and over and over, I could like just in the last few weeks, things that have changed that I'm trying to make these things that I want to do more accessible. I got a bicycle trainer for my bike. So I used to really, really be into cycling. For me, really, really into. I would ride, 25 to 30 miles 2 to 3 times a week. People that are really into cycling are not that would be nothing. They're like, oh, well, why don't you do 100? And because I don't have that kind of time. But I love cycling and I just got out of it for years and years and years. But I still have my bike and it's been collecting dust in the garage for about 10 years. So it's completely irrelevant for the types of bikes they have, now, but I still love it. So anyway, I got a bike trainer and it's really, really cool. It's great. I've done it twice this week and I just miss it so much. Like I need more cardio in my life. Like, yes, I lift weights and that's great and everything, but I need to be um, pushing myself, like high intensity things to just work on my heart health, right? Plus lose some fat. So
Okay.
I got one of those and it's really cool. I haven't set it up to do this yet, but you can use a service called Zwift to basically tie it into your phone or your like Apple TV, and you can do virtual rides. So it simulates the resistance of going up a hill. It actually, you can have people that you race against their time doing that same course, and it's like a video game, but you're pedaling, and it's. Do you remember like the
So when you
Nintendo
say
gamepad?
bike trainer, you're talking about a thing you set your bike up on and you
Yeah,
pedal.
yeah. It goes
It's
through
not a
the
person.
axle of your like rear wheel. It holds onto your rear wheel, and it's got a little flywheel and little like roller, kind of like a
Like
dyno tester
tension
for a
to give
car.
it to gotcha.
Yeah, so you're actually pedaling, you're actually using your bike, and all of that information is going into your app and or your like, the Apple TV or whatever. I've not set up the Zwift thing yet, but I can't wait. So it's
No,
kind
it
of
makes sense,
gamifying.
especially where you live now. We don't You're no longer in California. There's a
Yeah, I
big
can't just go
distinction where
hop
you
on the
can't
bike trail
ride.
that's a quarter mile away. I have to like I and the roads here, like we live off of a farm road. Come on. Like
They're
there's
not
not even
conducive.
there's
No.
not even like the side of the road, like it's
Right. There's
2
no bike
lanes,
lanes.
a
There's
6-inch stripe,
barely a
and
lane.
a ditch. Yeah, so I'm not riding out on those roads. Plus there's entirely too many hills. I like the flatness of Bakersfield. It was great.
Yeah.
Anyway, but all that like so I've got it easily accessible in my garage. It's a really quick setup and tear down. I've got the TV in my garage, Apple TV. I've got, fans and, music and all the things. Um,
Okay.
but so that's one thing. The steering wheel is another thing. Um, but I'll like even this, like my podcast setup, my microphone, it'll slide out of the way, right? I can bring it back. Hello. Um,
Right.
my desk is much cleaner. There is one corner right here that you cannot see that's off camera that
Okay.
is a pile of
Stuff.
papers. Yes. And
Okay.
that needs to be cleaned up. I've got an iMac that's on a articulating arm that I want to get rid of. Um, and that will go away. And so it's going to end up being basically my laptop can or cannot be on my desk. It can be folded away and set up vertically.
Mhm.
My teleprompter and microphone setup and just my keyboard and like some pins. Like I need a cleared space. So here's why this all does make sense. So like I said, the last, month or so has just really felt like I have not been able to move the needle forward. And a lot of it has been because I have felt encroached on by all the things in life.
Right. It makes
Now,
you feel stuck
yeah,
and
like
trapped.
so I've had
Mhm.
to declutter my space. So it's not even just in here. Like my desk is so much cleaner right now. And it's great. I can breathe. I can think clearly sometimes. But even like the garage, we moved a few months ago and what had been in our attic no longer, the attic here isn't finished. So I need to go through and lay down some boards and that kind of stuff. But it's been just sitting in the garage stacked. My gym setup
Okay.
worked, but it like there was no place to park the car, and it
Right.
was like so all of it was just clutter everywhere. And I got to the point of complete, I don't want to say dysfunction, but there has been an
Yeah.
element of dysfunction in my life for the last,
Right.
little bit. And I finally got to the breaking point last weekend and I was just like rage clean, like
Yeah.
and I just like it's so therapeutic for me when I go through and do those things because I just feel like I don't know, in control again.
Uh-huh.
This is probably
Yeah.
digging into much deeper psychological
No,
issues, but
I think we should probably coin the term misfunction because you kind of
yeah,
misfire. Like you would be in your system, but that thing not
that's it.
being where it should be or being out of play or doing the thing kind of stalls you and makes you misfire.
Yeah,
So you misfunction where you could have been ideally moving forward, but you kind of you hit that bump and you're like, nope, I can't now concentrate on this because of that.
I can't
And so it
concentrate.
just
Yeah.
stays there. It's so funny. I used to have a bucket orange bucket here that I used to fill up the fish tank. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get it out of here. I'm not kidding. I I've spent the last few weeks like on camera staring at the bucket because it's a bright orange bucket. It was from
Right,
Home
right.
Depot with the lid and I'm just like, I got to get rid of that bucket. It is an anchor holding me back. And that's when I realized what's really strange is once the bucket was out of here, which was, I think I took it home on Monday night.
Okay.
Once the bucket left, I was like, I now see what needs to be finished in the office and how to finish setting it up. Like
Right.
it freed my brain. That was an anchor holding me to like, something needs to change, but I couldn't come up with what.
Yeah.
And then I took it out and I'm like, oh, I now see clearly what needs to happen here. So that's why I say this office is about to get uh finished, or at
Well, I
least
love your setup, dude. The
one
paint you
step further.
chose and the colors, like the lighting, like it's all so good, and I like the depth, right? Like
Mhm.
that's kind of why I'm shooting into the corner. I want a
Me
little more
too.
depth in my shot, right?
Yes, and this is a tiny little room. I know it well, you can kind of tell. Like this is just bigger than a walk-in closet. But I'm
Right.
using every inch of it as
Yeah.
best I possibly can so that it works.
Yeah.
Um but anyway, yeah, I'm liking that. So today there was one thing I kind
Okay.
of wanted to chat
Yeah.
about, and that is I know the last couple of weeks I've been talking about um, sort of the video thing that I've been working on. And it was strange because it kind of brought me to an epiphany where I'm doing it again. And I'm pretty sure I think we've talked before, and I think you've had the same issue. And that is where you're doing something you enjoy doing. And then you think, oh, I think I can monetize this or turn it into a business and take it more seriously. And then as soon as you
Yeah.
do that, you kind of have to shift gears and it starts heading in a direction that you don't enjoy.
Right.
And so that's kind of what happened with me this last week. I finally finished my proof of concept video. And whether or not that was a complete success or a partial success aside, it doesn't matter. Um, I found myself not enjoying the making the next video because the things I thought I was going to enjoy about that video, making it, I didn't. It turned out, I think, pretty good. There was some things I would like to change, but I think I need some assistance. I don't
Sure.
know that it's super conducive for solo filming. And
Do you wanna
so,
do you wanna show it?
um,
It's up to you. I don't have it
yeah.
ready, but I can get it ready.
Well, I actually made some of the changes you told me to make, and I
Okay.
uploaded it again on YouTube. I can give you that link. So, yeah, if not, we can put it in the notes in case people want to see it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
let's do that.
yeah, let's do that. Let's put that in there so that people can see it. Um, so I did enjoy. There were aspects of it I enjoy, and I think I still have a few more episodes I would like to make because I think it
Okay.
would be pretty fun. Um, but I've noticed that every time I start to take something I enjoy doing, and then I think, well, how do I make it into a business? I realize that it takes and sucks all the joy out of it because I end up having, excuse me if this is the wrong word, but I end up having to pander to the people that would be the audience for the thing, or the clients or the customers or the
Sure.
ideal client, whatever, for that thing. I have to think, well, who are they? What would they actually want? So, yeah, that's just a tiny part of what I enjoy doing, but I have to deplete all the part that's joy and just lean into the part that's work.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've
And so
definitely
I
I've
did
I've
that when I
experienced
was
the same thing.
screening t-shirts. I did
Yeah.
it when like so many different things that I've done where I'm like, "Oh, it it honestly just sort of disheartened me and made me feel like, well, here we go, I guess." And I thought, "What am I doing? I don't have to do that." I
Yeah.
really got into it because I wanted to make something I enjoyed.
Right.
And
So,
so,
over and over and over, I have done that to the point now where I'm aware of it and I guard my hobbies, and I'm actually
okay.
finding hobbies that I'm like, "I could never make money doing this." Like golf,
Uh,
sim racing, like, I'm never gonna make money doing this. But whether it like, woodworking, I would absolutely, like,
okay.
enjoy woodworking, and I would try to turn that into, like, what little things can I make that I can sell? Stop. Just stop, right?
Yeah.
Because I've done it with photography, with videography, like, with
Yeah.
coffee. I mean, because essentially, like, roast of the week kind of came out of my love of coffee. It's
Right.
teaching, Christian business and everything, but, like, that really became work, you know?
I can imagine.
And it's just like over and over and over. Here's what I've realized. Um, at the end of the day, work is still a four-letter word. And, your mindset about it is really what's going to shape whether or not you enjoy it.
Yes.
So, like, what sounds like fun and, like, photography was a big one where I really just enjoyed like the creative expression. I actually got into photography when I was in junior high, and that, then I worked in television and all that stuff, and I came back to photography in my early 30s, and
Uh-huh.
that was a part of my responsibilities when I worked at EFX Sports, um, and it was a blast. I really enjoyed it looking back, but I'll tell you what, like, it's not all easy, right? And at the end of the day, it's
Right.
still work. So I kind of think, there's this idea of like, oh, well, just do what you love, and every
Uh-huh.
day like work. That is such horse crap. It
Uh-huh.
is like work is still work. I mean, like, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I would
Yeah.
still much rather take something that I enjoyed doing when it was a hobby, because it was on my terms when I wanted to do it, not every day, the grind, and like, oh, even when I don't want to do it, I have to be creative or whatever it is.
Right.
I'd still rather do that than shovel, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't wanna dig ditches. There's a reason I decided to work with my mind instead of my hands,
Right.
um, but
Yeah.
it's
No,
still work.
I agree that for sure. Um, it is funny because I'm like we've talked and we've gone over things. And you're like, man, if you enjoy doing, because like for sure, I love filming. I love using the
Yeah,
camera. I love doing all of that stuff. I like kind of creative shots. I like doing that kind of stuff. And I like the thought of doing a really cool creative video for a business and then giving it to them. If I gave it to them, I would enjoy it.
right,
If I
right,
charged them, I would hate it, even if it
yeah,
was the same video. Now, if I gave it to them and they were like, "Oh my god, we freaking love this." Matter of fact, it was for a restaurant, so dinner's on us. I would feel
yeah,
like that's a cool high five. But
yes,
if I did
yeah,
it knowing I was gonna charge them, even if it's $5,000, I would be like, "Oh, I don't wanna do it." Like, everything I would put into it would feel like, "Well, what portion of that money is this thing?" Ugh, I
right,
just it would feel dirty.
yeah, and you
And
have to, like, you have to kinda get past that, like, if that's how you make your living, right?
right,
If
but
you
I
look
don't
at,
wanna
like,
have to
Eric
make a living
Yoon,
doing that. I don't want
we
to.
right, we talked to Eric Yoon, like, what, a month and a half, 2 months ago, something like that, and,
Mhm.
I mean, that's essentially what he's doing in just kind of, like, building his network, right?
Right.
He's making the videos and giving them to people, like, and Eric's a creative dude. He's a super creative dude. He has an eye. Like, that's what I saw in him when he started, working for me.
Right.
He had an eye, and you can learn the eye, but you can't really teach the eye. And so
Okay.
you can teach the techniques to create the things, right?
Right.
But so that's all that I did is I gave him a space to learn, but he already had the eye. And so, anyway, like, it makes sense. Like, that's how he's getting his creativity out. And then he also does the advertising, and that's what makes him money is,
Right.
doing social ad or advertising and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I love it that you're like experiencing this kind of thing, because that means that whatever crazy is in me is also out in the world. It's not just,
Yeah.
not just my own
No.
thing, not my own neuroses, but
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna just lean into when I wanna have fun, do things that I have fun with,
yeah,
and when I wanna work, just work.
that's it.
And so, yeah, man, I always try to well, how do I take what I'm doing for work and make money with it?
Yeah,
And time what I so as you know, like my YouTube channel, it's all therapy stuff and it's all teaching and explaining and doing. And I'm like, God, it just became arduous. Like I just didn't enjoy it. I got it. I dialed it down. I had the camera set up, the whole thing. I could just sit down, record, quick edit, just chop the front and the back off where I was sitting down and getting ready, post it.
yeah,
And it was worked okay. I'm still getting subscribers. I haven't posted anything in weeks. And there are still people coming to get the content. But at the same time, it's like, that isn't what I want to do. I don't mind. I'll leave it up because it's helping people. So great.
yeah,
I can tell because the comments that I'm getting from people who watch the videos are like, dude, okay, now I'm seeing that. And they ask some people even ask questions and I can answer them. Whether or not the answer is what they're looking for, I can tell you probably not, because very
right.
often it's people that are in that breakup thing, Or, I'm trying to talk this person, they're more interested in having a relationship, but I just still want to stay friends. And so they said, well, let's just leave it. So how do I get them back as my friend? And I'm like, you don't. They said, let's
Right.
leave it. Like, let's just go.
Yeah, you can't put the
Um,
toothpaste back in the tube.
yeah. So it just is like but I get if I really wanted to be grow that, I have to say, here's how you get your ex back. Why? Because that's what
Yeah,
people want to
that's what they
hear,
wanna hear.
not what's
Yeah,
realistic. Or it is it isn't even what would make them happy. It's what
right.
they think would make them happy. They were
Right.
miserable. That's why they're apart.
Yep.
But they're like, oh, this is miserable too. And it's like, yeah, this is a stage. This is a step. Keep going. Like, don't
Yeah.
stay there. Move
Right,
on.
right.
But people don't like to hear that. They like the easy fix. If I could just sell them a pill called the get over it pill, they would buy it. Um,
This is so true.
so yeah, but again, I don't want to sell them that pill. Like, I don't want to pander and sell people what they want to hear. Like, I could, but every time I do it, and I'm like, forget it. I'm selling out. I'm going for it. I'm just
Right.
gonna do it. I know it. I know that's how you succeed. I'm gonna do it. I do it for like 1 day, and I can't sleep that night. And I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it pulls me back, and then I freak out, and I'm like, I can't do it. And then to consider even doing this for long term, like I'll give myself an ulcer. I can't do it. So yeah, it makes sense. I can't get over how clean your desk. I'm now looking at my desk being like, I just keep
Hey,
slowly
it's
collecting
just
more
this little
things.
space that you see here because there's literally stuff here and here and here. Like but it will be decluttered. I think, kind of going back to the declutter thing, I just can't focus
Right.
when I
Have too much stuff in the
and I
way.
don't know if it like if that's a normal person thing, but I just feel like if my brain's cluttered enough, if my space isn't decluttered, then it's going to distract me. It's going to keep me from I'm not going to be able to focus on what I need to get done because I'm going to be like, oh, the pile here or whatever.
Yes.
And also keep in mind, like, this is my level of chaos or misfunction. I like that word a lot.
Mhm.
I get that I probably have a very, very low tolerance versus most people. I live in the household where I am the one that changes the toilet paper roll, that changes the paper towel roll, that takes out the trash, that cleans the dishes.
Uh-huh.
That like I'm not saying that my family is dirty. It's not. They're not. They don't have the opportunity to be because I have such a low tolerance
You're on it.
for
Yeah.
disorder that it's like, whew. But
Oh my God. I imagine that your house is one of those that you go to, and when the toilet paper roll gets down about this far, you take it off, put the new one, and then set that one on top. So you have to finish using it so there's a full one.
and that is the way to do it because the way to not do it is to
To
leave the
run
little
out.
one on the roll and then have the big one setting out there. But
Yes.
the people that I live with will like
Do that.
they'll leave that and they'll just use the big one, even though there's like still some sheets on the small one. And I'm
Oh,
noticing that the big one gets smaller and smaller. I don't know why it's not making it on the roll holder.
right.
Anyway, sorry. Whew. What I need
Mhm.
now, the last piece for the office is a couch so that I can just lay down on the couch and talk to you during these
During some of the
podcasts.
sessions. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Whew, man. Yeah. And I, at the same time, like I'm not a complete head case, you know.
No.
I find it easier um to do the things that I have to do if I'm not worried about the other things. And a lot of it is because I don't want to do the things, right?
Right.
So like I don't want to do it. And so any excuse that I can find
Anything
to
you
not
can
do
see.
it,
Yes.
that's it. It's actually
Right.
like I find I need a balance between like, man, I'm in work mode, but distraction is out of arm's reach. Like literally right here to my right is my guitar and my amp. Like right back there, like that is still my Xbox and everything, right? So, right there. Like if I need distraction, I can choose it.
Mhm.
And knowing that I could choose it
Uh-huh.
gives me a lot of comfort. Like it's almost like I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to choose it. It's going to collect dust, but I know
It's
that I could.
It's
It's kind of
so
like
funny.
it's
Like,
freedom, you know?
man, that's such the ADHD brain is if you are distracted, if there's a distraction, it distracts you. It takes you off
Yes.
task.
Yes.
But also having no access to distractions is a distraction. You
Yeah,
have to have the ability to be distracted and choose not to be distracted because
yes.
it would take just enough work that it becomes work. And so you go, nah. And so you stay on task. So
Right.
staying on task, so many people are like, oh no, it's hyperactivity. Just it's like ADD is a deficit of attention, and it's not. It's hyper attention,
Right.
and so you have too much attention, and it ends up being pulled. And so it's really
Right.
about staying on task. I think ADHD is mislabeled. It should be you have a disability to stay on task because
Yes.
you get your attention gets pulled, not because you don't have attention, but because it's difficult to keep your attention in one place on task.
Right.
Like you very well, I have so many clients that are like, yeah, no, the thing is, like, I start cleaning the kitchen and then I notice, oh, this needs to be taken out to the garage, and I take it out to the garage and I go, this needs to sit there, but that can't sit there unless I move this, and then that goes to the and 2
Yep.
hours later, they're in the backyard digging up plants. And you're like, how did this happen? And they're like, well, I'm cleaning the kitchen.
That is me.
Oh, shoot. And they got to go back to the kitchen and they've done nothing in the kitchen. And so then they get in trouble and then they start beating themselves up. And it's like, what's wrong with me? And there's not. It's that you have attention. Your attention just gets moved. And
Yeah.
so the problem you have is staying on task. So I end up having to tell people, if you have a watch or a phone, set an alarm for how often you think you get pulled off task. And that is my most fun thing because people go, oh, I could probably stay on task 10 minutes. And I go, do that for me this week. And then let me know how many tasks away you were at the 10-minute when your alarm goes off.
Yeah.
And so often it's like 4, 5, 3, 6, like
Yeah.
so many. And they're like, oh my God, what do I need an alarm every minute? I go,
Yeah.
yes. So I end up having to teach. This is ridiculous, and I'm going to just share this. This is also probably just leading us into misfunction.
Sure.
But I have to teach my son this. I do this constantly. Like my wife asks me, why are you always freaking singing? I have to sing my task. And I've seen little videos online where people are like, when you're doing scoops, one, 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 and they put the scoop and then they do another one, one, two, 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 two,
Uh,
two. So you can remember how many cups of flour you're putting into the recipe or whatever. And it's so funny because I do that. But also, I have to teach my son, sing what you're doing. And so this is ridiculous, and I'm going to go ahead and sing. I'm not a singer, but I've had to teach him this little song each night, which is teeth brushing jammas, teeth brushing jammas, teeth brushing
Staying on
jammas.
task.
The jammas come first. And he has to keep singing that over and over and over until he puts his pajamas on and he brushes his teeth. And he's
Wow.
like, Papa, that's so stupid. He goes, but like first night, I can hear him singing teeth brushing jammas. And I look inside his door and he's trying to read the book, but he can't read and sing. And he's like, oh, and he catches himself
Uh,
because he's singing the song. He needs to go back and get his jammas because he loves reading Calvin and Hobbes. And if a
okay.
Calvin and Hobbes book is anywhere in sight, his attention goes
Yeah.
to it and he's reading it. But singing the song of the task does it. And so in the
Yeah.
morning, we're doing like breakfast, get your breakfast ready, or get your shoes on, or get shoes and backpack. So I try and tie
Right.
two things because otherwise it's just backpack, backpack, backpack. Okay, that's no good. But
That
put
that's
your
starting to sound
shoes
like
on in your backpack.
Dora the Explorer.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm the bag. I'm the bag. Oh,
Yeah.
map. I'm the map.
I'm the
Um,
map.
so, yeah, but we have to sing the song to keep him on task. And so I end up having to do this all the time. And I know it drives my wife crazy and whatever, but I stay on task because I'm singing the task
Yeah.
while I'm doing the task. And then when I'm finished with that, okay, now I can go off and go do whatever else. But if I don't do that, man, I can't make coffee in the espresso machine because it's seven things. It's like grind, weigh, to press, get ready, heat the cup up with the hot water, rinse the thing, put the milk in the little pitcher, the foamer, then drain the cup, then fill the cup, then foam the thing, then pour the thing, then rinse the thing, then that's way too many tasks. Like I get to going and I grind in the thing, and then I go. My son comes downstairs and he's like, "Oh, Papa, can I have a waffle or cereal or milk or whatever. Yep, pour his milk, and then
Yeah.
I'm off doing something else, and I'm like completely forget what I'm doing. So I have to stay on task. I have to have constant reminders to
Yeah.
stay on task.
I mean, I definitely understand that. Um, at the same time, so I experienced that. Um, I'm constantly singing or whistling, singing in my head or like kind of under my breath, like a, you know,
Uh-huh.
but that's probably because I'm a musician, right? But
What's good with
so
that?
I let, like, I was just having a conversation with my son yesterday. Like, I memorize guitar solos. I can whistle guitar solos. And we're talking like song. I heard a song, listened to a song yesterday I haven't heard in 15 years. It was
Mhm.
Queensryche Silent Lucidity and
Okay.
nailed it. Why is that still there? Like, it's weird. But anyway, my whole point is like,
Mhm.
and at the same time, once I do get into the task, push past that barrier of I don't want to do it,
Uh-huh.
hours can disappear, can melt away.
Oh,
I am
once you're in
actually a
that
huge
flow,
fan. Yeah, want the flow, right?
22 minutes. Soon as you get into the flow, nothing can pull you out of it.
Yeah.
You don't notice anything else around you. You could be hungry, miss a meal, it
Yep.
doesn't matter.
In
Yeah.
fact, my wife, so we have a system now, and it's a little bit of compromise on both of our parts. But when we were like newlyweds, I didn't know any of this stuff about me. And she would call me in the middle like of the day, like,
Mhm.
"Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "What?" No personality, no like cordial, like, "Hey, baby, how's it going?" No, like, because I was working, I was in on a task, and she was like, it wasn't even that she was
Uh-huh.
pulling me out of it. She actually wasn't pulling me out of it. It
Right.
was just that, like, I am in on this task, and yeah, I'm trying to talk to you at the same time, right?
Uh-huh.
She's
You
like,
wouldn't even pull yourself out of it in
no,
order to engage. You would just be like, "Yeah, you're secondary. Go, go, go.
right,
Hurry. What
right.
do you
Yeah, what do
need?"
you got? What do you got? Yeah, tell me. Okay,
Because you
yep,
don't wanna pull yourself all the way out.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And to the point where, like, I think my cousin, at one point, we were designing his house. So I know that's probably not something most people say, but I come from a family of home builders, custom home builders, and so
Mm.
I have designed a house,
Okay.
and it even got built. Didn't fall down or anything, but we were working on his plan. We would meet together on a regular basis, like,
Sure.
every other week, I think, and we started working on his plan.
Right.
Anyway, I never knew I did this, but I'm listening to music while I'm working, right?
Huh.
And he caught that, like, in certain songs at different parts, like, I would break out the rock fist, like, with, I'm using my mouse, and it's like, this part had no clue I was doing it. I've completely lost myself into the music or the process or whatever,
Right.
and it's just hilarious. I know, I now I catch myself doing those kinds of things,
Okay.
or the drum fill or whatever, or whistling the guitar solo. Like, but that's not
Okay,
stuff that I knew that I did.
one more quick question. When you were in
Yeah.
high school, maybe college, whatever, and you used to study, you'd listen to music, you'd read the textbook. And then later you'd be could you be like taking the test and then you visually imagine the page and you hear the music in your head and as you sing the music the answer comes to you?
Well, Aaron,
Because
that's
I
a
used
loaded
to do that.
question because that would imply that I studied.
Oh.
I am not that person. Um,
Oh.
I was the person that showed up and took tests, and that's
Oh man, that's so
if it was
funny.
more than that, I didn't get an A. So,
You know how I used to study? I had never actually read the material.
uh-huh.
I would listen to an entire album and I would just open the book and stare at the page and I'd go 4 pages, probably about a
Okay.
page a minute. I would just look at the page, never read a single word, just look
Okay.
at it and just look at it. And I don't have a
Yeah.
photographic memory, but what's
Sure.
weird is later in class, I would go, "Oh my god, that was a heading."
Right.
Okay, and then I would start hearing the music, hear the song, and I could picture the page and then get the answer. It would just like glow. I wouldn't even know what this answer said, but I would look at it and be like, C is the answer. And I did amazingly well on tests. So when people go, "Oh my god, dude, you did so good. You aced that test." And I go, "Yeah, but don't ask me any questions about it because I can't
Right.
tell you."
So there's part of that. It's actually a speed reading technique. I learned like a piece
There's
of
no
that.
comprehension. I didn't comprehend any of it.
Right. Right.
I don't
But kind of going back on your like the music question, like, so let's
recall.
just let's just say I didn't really study. Actually,
Right.
I take it back. There was one class that I studied really, really hard for. It was organic chemistry. I had it for two classes,
Okay.
and it's the reason I'm not a doctor. I've never worked so hard for a B minus and a C plus, and it was just ridiculous. And I can tell you, like, I studied every night. I was in study groups. I made great friends,
Okay.
but I couldn't tell you anything about what I learned. It was the most miserable experience of my life, and it's what talked me out of going to, like being a doctor. So,
Okay.
anyway, kind of music, bringing it back. Okay, music.
Right.
I will hear a song, and it
Mhm.
absolutely immediately elicits feelings based on when I listen to that song different times in my life. To
Sure.
this day, um, one of my favorite albums, if I had to probably pick a favorite album, it's definitely top 3, but it would be Tom Petty, "Wildflowers."
Okay.
It came out right after I got my license, when I was in high school, and I can remember, like, the friends, like, the girlfriend, like, all of the things, and I will listen to that entire album, like, all the way through, and it is, like,
Like a
great.
reminiscing.
It
Yeah.
and it's not specifically like this memory or that memory, but it's like
It's the
the
feeling.
overall feeling, right?
Uh-huh.
And so same thing with like even Silent Lucidity. I know who introduced me to that song. They're not alive anymore. And it brings up those types of, feelings. And so
Right.
it's a weird, weird thing because music, I think, speaks to, I don't know, speaks to your soul or something. There's just something about it. And I'm
Right.
and I'm very much more of a visual learner, but at the same time, like, there's something that's happening from an auditory
Uh-huh.
standpoint. Is it imprinting, or I don't understand it. It's really, really great though. I can't imagine life without music. Um,
Right.
and I don't love silence, so that's also probably one of those things, But
Sure.
anyway, so I imagine that if I had studied and there had been music, that would, bring up the things. But I also, like, I'm not the person that can read with, like, a
Music on.
song on. If there's
Me
lyrics,
me
if
either.
there's
I
if
can't
there's
I
music,
can't do it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's too distracting because I get
Mhm.
pulled into the song. I can
Exactly.
get pulled into the song and not see anything.
Yeah.
So, which is why I would just look at it. I
At the
couldn't
same
even tell
time,
you what
I
it
can
was.
work with a podcast on. I'll throw, you know, like,
Voices
podcasts, yeah, it can be over
talking.
my shoulder, like, I don't like not having noise. I need some kinda noise. Silence is scary,
Mhm.
because then I hear all the
When
voices
you were
in my
growing let me ask you one more question. When you were growing up, did you guys turn the TV on as background noise?
head. I don't know about when I was growing up, but absolutely, when it was my TV and I could do that, yeah.
You just have it on, and even if you weren't watching it, you're in the kitchen, it would have to be on in the background, just,
Yeah.
and
In
you
fact,
wouldn't feel
there was probably a 10 to 15-year period of my life where I couldn't fall asleep without the TV being on.
okay,
So, in fact, I've broken through that now. Um, I fall asleep pretty much as soon as my head hits the pillow. Um,
okay.
but that was a really hard transition. Like, I would have to fall asleep on the couch with, like, the TV on, and then I'd wake up, 1 or 2 in the
And then
morning and then hit the bed. But
yeah,
that started in college. Um,
okay.
just living alone, um, like, needing noise. I don't know.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. What does that mean? What kind of label do I get?
Nothing means anything. It
Okay.
means what you think it means. Um, so yeah, no, that's interesting. Had this pretty much always need something on. I
Yeah.
have to have music is good, but it's not personal. Like
Mm,
I can put music on, but then it's like I get pulled into it. Versus
right.
if I just turn the TV on, it's just nice to hear voices in the other room.
Yeah.
But drives my wife crazy because I'm like, "Oh, let's put a movie on." She's like, "Why are we watching a movie?" I'm like, "We're not. We just put the Lord of the Rings on in the other room." She's like, "Why would we do that?" And I'm like, "Okay, for the noise." Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, especially if it's something I haven't seen or I mean that I've seen multiple times, great.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and, like, so I will sit down and work sometimes if I'm, like, I have to push through a project, but I still have to be kind of, like, social, like, around my family. Um, that sounded bad. I have to be around my family. That's not what I mean. Um, but I'll take my laptop in and I'll sit in the chair and like, whatever Darcy is watching, it's like, that's perfect. It's just noise. And I can still
Mhm.
like laugh at the
Process.
joke, and like,
Mhm.
ooh, she did what? But
Right.
if it's something I'm too invested in, I'm too interested in,
It pulls you out of what you're
oh,
doing.
like
Yeah.
I won't even look at my screen. I'll just be like, mouth open, drooling at the TV. Um,
Right.
so yeah, I have to say this. I don't have to say it. I shouldn't say it. This is like, I don't want to say embarrassing. I just never thought I'd be this guy.
Mhm.
And my wife is making fun of me,
Okay.
but she's watching Gilmore Girls on Netflix. And it was enough of that me working on my laptop while the story is happening. And I'm not paying attention. I'm like, I don't watch Gilmore Girls. This is stupid.
Uh-huh.
Crap. Now it just happened this week. She's like, what are we going to watch? And I wasn't working or anything. And, it had been just this thing that she was doing and she was watching and I'd be in there. She's
It
like,
was fine that it
she would
was
ask
sort of
me, like, are you going
background
to pay
noise.
attention? I'm like, no. So she'd put on Gilmore Girls. And I'm like, literally, we sat down. She's like, what do you want to watch? I'm like, I guess play Gilmore Girls. I want to find out what happens next.
Yeah.
Uh, so I've officially traded in my man card for whatever that's worth. I know that we're big believers in gender stereotypes here, but
Yeah.
all sarcasm intended. But no, it's just funny, like that noise that I needed turned
Uh-huh.
into interest, and now I find myself going, I can't
Uh-huh.
work with this on. Dang it!
But I tell you, that absolutely brings up a quick, interesting topic, and we can get out and go leave after that. But it ties into the idea of your paying attention.
Mm,
What you spend your attention on becomes an area of interest,
right.
which is why you have to be careful where you pay attention. So again, when the people, oh no, I don't care. I can watch. It doesn't affect me. Yes, it does,
Yeah.
because where you place your attention is again the most valuable thing you possess.
Yeah.
And so when people can grab it, they take it. So don't let your attention be stolen, even unintentionally, like Gilmore Girls. But notice there's some value, like there's something, it's a decent show. Whether or
Yeah.
not it's
Yeah.
meant for you or meant for what, it doesn't matter. And you're like, I would never be interested in that. You wouldn't be until you apply your attention to it, even casually. And
Yeah.
then pretty soon you're like, well, actually, I'm getting invested in the characters. Yes, that's the point. That's why they made the show the way they made it, is so
Yeah.
that you get invested in the characters. Okay.
It like the writing is a little kitschy
Mhm.
and a little like, I mean, almost like
Dated.
annoying,
Yeah.
but to the point where it's like it actually is how my brain works. I sit there like it's so annoying because it's like it opens loops and closes them in a satisfying way.
Mhm.
I don't know how to explain it, but it's like almost like it's like either like filled with inside jokes that only you and I would get kind of thing. Like, like you and a friend would get,
Uh-huh.
or like it's kind of a little deeper. It's not just the surface level stuff. A lot of stuff, like really quick fire, dry jokes. That's what it is. I think it's like those quick fire, dry jokes that you know
Fly
I
under the
laugh at.
radar.
Yeah, like
Uh-huh.
and it by it not having like a filmed in front of a studio audience and the laugh track and all that stuff, they can get away with that.
Uh-huh.
Whereas shows that where they have a laugh track, there's no room for that. They fill a lot of space with a laugh track. I don't know.
Right.
And it's annoying. It's really annoying because I've gotten into it. But thankfully I didn't get into it until like season 5, and there's only like 7 seasons. So whew, man. But if it's not one thing, it's another, right? She'll get
Huh?
into whatever murder
Show it
docu
is, or
series, and
right.
I won't care until like it's like halfway through. I'm like, wait, they found what? And it's
Uh-huh.
just that, like you said,
It's
like
those
that
loops,
subtle
and it's
paying
where you're
attention, and then it
uh-huh.
gets you.
Right. So, you just have to be mindful and be intentional with your attention,
It's really
because
good.
it's easy to let it slip through your fingers and then it's
Yeah, and that
gone.
goes back to like the whole thing of like, you see what you're looking for, right?
Mhm.
You're like where your attention is, that's what you're gonna find.
Right.
You say that better than I do, but
Oh my goodness. I was talking with someone recently, And yeah, I'm doing the same thing I always do. I'm just telling them, where your attention go, whatever. And they were like, "Dude, you sound like like a Star Wars nerd." And I was like, at first I almost got offended, and then I was
Yeah.
like, "Hmm, yeah, that's because a lot of the stuff they talk about with the Force and your attention and where you go, that creates your reality. That's how you." And so I was like, "Yeah, I could see that." And then I thought, "Wait a minute." I almost was insulted by the fact they called me a Star Wars nerd. Only a Star Wars nerd would have known enough to call me that.
True.
And so then I was like, "Oh, thank God I didn't like get offended that I was being called a Star Wars nerd because I may have been talking to one at
Right.
that moment."
Right.
And I was like, "Actually, I don't take offense to that." When somebody says something like, and when I was younger, my dad used to watch a lot of Star Trek, and I really enjoyed the idea of Star Trek, which I don't know. It's not the space travel. It's not that. It's the fact that there was like no money, no all of the basic human needs are
Right.
taken care of. You like food. You didn't have to go after food. You just the
Yeah.
thing just made it for you, and you just ate. So whatever the hollow food thing was, you just said what you wanted to eat, and there it came in. You ate
Right.
it. If you were thirsty, you just tell hot tea, and it gives it to you. And so it's like once all your basic human needs are taken care of, then you start going after connections and like the deeper things in life. And so
Sure.
it's so crazy when people are like, "Yeah, this is ridiculous. Like if we just give you everything, like then everyone would be lazy and do nothing." And it's like human nature proves the opposite of that. You give everyone what they need, they no longer have to strive and scrape for the at the bottom. Then they get to start applying themselves towards meaningful things because they're not distracted by where am I going to eat next? Where am I going to sleep? Am I safe?
Right.
And so I'm like, no, I love the idea of Star Trek. And so when somebody's, well, you sound like a Star Trek nerd, I'm like, yeah, I know. Sorry. I think that's ideal. Whether or not it makes sense in our day and age and our world, no. But at the
Right.
same time, like it would be great if it was a thing. It's just one of those things that's not yet feasible. Okay.
Right.
'Cause we
Right.
don't have a thing to make everything for everything.
Yeah.
But if
And I'm
that was, then it would be great, but it's not, so it's not.
to give you an idea of how my whatever ADD I have, whatever it is, whatever form, I am trying to figure out what that thing is called, and I've not been able to move past it. I want to say it's the replicator, but that doesn't. I don't know if that sounds right.
That does sound right.
Does it?
It sounds
Yeah.
right.
I mean,
Whether
I
it is or not, I don't know. I'm not quite big enough Star Trek nerd to know. If you
oh
know what it is, please put it in the comments. If
yes.
there's comments or description. I don't know. Put it somewhere. Let us know.
Or
Um,
yeah.
so that's all I have today. I'm looking forward. Gosh sake, I tell you, I am looking forward to being able to look forward into the camera. Like I'm super excited about that. Um, I know I had been using the teleprompter for some other projects, some other things I'd been working
Right.
on, but I think it makes sense for me to pull it and use it specifically for the podcast and then for my virtual online therapy. I think it makes more sense to be able to look and see the client's reaction because that's been my toughest hurdle with doing virtual therapy. I
Hmm.
probably ought not be saying this online, but anyway, is looking at the screen and it not be the camera because there is this interpersonal connection where
Right.
when you're talking to someone, you look them in the eyes. And so I
Right.
know when I say something impactful and I want it to be meaningful, I will look at the camera, but then my focus isn't actually at the camera. I'm still trying to watch peripherally the the screen so that I
Yeah.
can see their reaction and then I can gauge my response and we can go from there because I so much of what I do is real time. And so when I'm talking to someone, if I see something that lands, then I do go deeper. But if it's not, then I can see, oh, I'm getting some resistance to that. Let's take a different approach or whatever. But I can't do that without watching the screen. But I also know that it would make more sense for me to look at them, which is why I like doing it in person.
Right.
But because we are in the day and age we're in, I've got to be able to do it virtually and I've got to be able to do it better.
And that's it. Like, look, nothing's going to replace in-person communication, right?
Right.
Being able to like look someone in the eyes, see
Breathe the
their body
same air.
language, like, and
Feel the
so Zoom
energy in
is
the
a
room. Yeah.
very like inefficient facsimile of that.
Right.
But having the teleprompter and having the camera behind it, and being able to like,
Look through
even
the
if you're
glass.
not looking at me, even if you were, and because I have standing meetings all week long, right?
Mhm.
But especially when it's a new client, or a lead or whatever, man, it is so valuable being able to look at them, see their body language, what is landing, what is not, you know,
Uh-huh.
and it's not, gosh, I'm not trying to say like it's manipulation because I'm not trying to sell. I mean, I am selling, right? But I'm trying to
Right.
help, right? And so I
Mhm.
need to know how receptive they are to the help that I'm offering, right? It
Right.
is invaluable. Like it was, I think my camera and prompter all together was like a $400 to $500 investment. Not at all bad and absolutely worth it because the difference between me being able to look at you or whoever I'm talking to and see what's happening versus like the oh yeah, or I'm
Looking at
looking
the
at
screen below. Yeah, like I'm doing.
yeah, it's just different. It's because
Uh-huh. And
honestly,
it's different for me because I'm looking at you
mhm,
and it feels like you're looking at me, but I'm
right.
sure you're looking at me looking down.
Yeah, or to the side or whatever, but it's
Right.
still better. But
For
I think that's
you,
the thing is
yes,
like
but the
how
impression that you give, the connection that you're giving is so much better, which is why I need that to be me.
yes,
And
right, and that's it.
too often people are using their phones, which is a close enough camera to the screen where you almost can't tell. So for
Yeah,
them, it almost looks like they're looking at me. And then for
right.
me to not be looking at them is just, I feel like it's almost disrespectful.
Right. Well, especially because you're the person, the authority figure, right? Because you're the expert or the
Right.
therapist or like whatever, the coach. Like you should be the one that's establishing.
Looking at the, yes,
Yeah.
I should
Yeah.
be. And so
So,
anyway, that's where I think this is going to go this next week. We will see. It may take a couple of weeks to tweak and to really get polished, but that's going to be my next task working on that.
awesome.
So
Well,
that's all I got for this week, honestly.
I think
So
despite like us not really bringing value, like there's some stuff that we talked about that actually like I think
I got
like
some value.
I
I
got
don't know
value out of
whether or
it.
not
Like,
anybody else did, but I got some from this. I really enjoyed. I don't know. It's there's something in the exchange of ideas.
mhm,
Whether there's how valuable that is, I don't know. We'll find out later. I know for me it is, and I got some new things I'm going to be working on and some directions to go this next week. So I'm excited about that. And then that's where we are. That's where I'm
yeah.
at.
Well,
So
and that's the thing, like, even if we're not like, hey, here's the download for this week, right? Like, we're not providing that kind of value. Like, I get a lot
right.
of value out of just like our conversations, right? I
Mhm.
think a lot of it is, you know, especially just being so kind of disconnected as a world,
Right.
like any kind of connection that you can have, man, you kind of gotta lean into it,
Mhm.
because the more isolated we become, the weirder we get.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah. I'm
well,
cool with weird, but we don't need it to be that weird.
right.
So
Like lean
yeah,
into the fun weird, not the creepy weird.
yeah,
So
exactly.
all right,
Cool.
man. Well, until next week, mind your business. Hey, this is CJ. Are you interested in step-by-step walkthroughs of the tactics we're using to grow our businesses? Then check out season 7 of the Grow an Online Business podcast. Formerly released exclusively to our Minding Your Business After Hours patrons, these episodes are available to listen to now for free. Search Grow an Online Business on Spotify or follow the link in the podcast notes to go directly to episode 1 of season 7. Hey, thanks for listening to the Minding Your Business podcast. Your hosts are Aaron Gerals and me, CJ Jolliffe. If you want to find out more about us or when we're going live or follow us on socials, just go to our website, mybpodcast.com. And again, thank you so much for listening.